Alright, welcome back. Second video of this particular quick series of how to handle working through this course. So, next thing I'm going to do is go into the lesson section. Click here, and this contains all the lessons that have to be done in the course, and it has a tentative due dates. Please note, the due dates that really do matter is when we have major assignments that are tacked on and due. However, each of these are dates that I would like things to be finished by. So, for instance, orientation, click on this link. It's got the learning outcomes, which hopefully you're going to accomplish. And then it's got overview of the online classroom, tech writing, netiquette for online learners, and then a syllabus quiz. The syllabus quiz really does work as a syllabus quiz. Just click on this thing, have a copy of my syllabus open, and go to it. It covers everything from how your grades are calculated, how is it best to contact me, and additionally, what's my turnaround time, I believe, for emails. Those are some of the top 3 ones. You can find those certainly within that section. So pretty easy section here, obviously created largely by my TCCD and TCC Connect. Using sources, taking notes, and avoiding plagiarism. Again, this is just a case of go through and read this information. I don't care if you format your documents in APA, MLA, whatever the case may be. I tend to prefer students to use the citation style that's more akin to what their discipline is. So unless you're going to be an English major, you're probably not going to use MLA. If you're going to be a scientist or something else, you're usually going to be using APA. But I do want you to know, be familiar with how the citation styles work and the rules governing them. Then we have this one, writing technical documents. This one actually has a lesson component attached to it. So writing technical documents, it's a reading piece right here, a reading section within your textbook, then an attached file that includes the documents you're supposed to complete. So click this, open it up. And here we have a 2-part writing assignment. The first part is, what is your writing process? Reflect on the process you've used in your academic writing up to this point. So, in classrooms. Evaluate the effectiveness of the strategies, describing which were most effective and which were least. Then discuss other elements of your writing process, such as what helps you and what hinders you when writing. What environment do you prefer when writing? So largely this is kind of focusing on the academic component of it. Depending on how your English 130102 and if you took lit already, professors work things, you may have written strictly within the classroom environment. You may have written some in the class and some outside the class, or you may have had a situation where the assignment was made and then you had the freedom to either write in the class or write at a separate location depending on your preference. You may choose a different location just because you like it better. This is a chance to be able to consider that stuff, your academic style of writing. Question 2, if you choose to do it, so 1's mandatory, 2 or 3, you choose between them. Question 2, reflect on the writing process you've used in non-academic writing. If write on your job, use that as an example. If you don't write on the job, discuss the time you've had to need to write an email or a letter or something like that in a non-academic setting, and this asks you to reflect on that process. And then question 3, and this is an option as well, reflect on the time you encountered a poorly written document, something you came across and went, holy moly, what were they thinking? I could write better than this. What were the problems that you noticed? Why did it make the document ineffective? What problems resulted because of the way the document was put together? So answer these basic questions. You'll find that most of the assignments kind of work that way. Just answer the questions you've been presented with and rock from there. If you give me an answer that doesn't work with what I'm asking for, I'm just going to tell you what you missed up on, send it back to you, and let you revise it. So best way of finding out whether you got it or didn't, submit it. The bigger question I saw from a couple of you in the email, how do I submit the document? Okay, so this is this exact same document. Notice how the design is here. It's got a picture of a pen, a ruler here, and everything else like that. That means that this is an assignment. That means this thing itself is an assignment. To access the submission window, click the name of the assignment. This will tell you how many points it's worth, and then you can scroll down. I would prefer you to attach your document, having written it in some form or file on the computer. Our system tends to prefer the .doc, .docx, and not PowerPoint. Well, it takes PowerPoint, but PDF versions are the ones it really tends to prefer. You'll just attach it, click this, I agree to submit my paper to the Global Reference Database. Even if you don't agree to do this, it's still going to run a plagiarism check on your piece. It's just not going to log your paper in to allow your work to be protected from other people stealing it later on and submitting it as their own, as their coursework. That being said, anywho, it's still going to check you for plagiarism when it gets to it. You can put comments in here if you choose to, like, oops, I submitted the wrong draft, and all, please grade this one instead. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you submit more than one draft before I go through and evaluate it, which they typically will take more than one draft, I'm looking at the more recent one. I'll occasionally look at the older drafts and all and see if there's anything different and all that may have happened, but usually I figure if somebody's gone to the effort of going through and resubmitting, given all these steps you go through, then there's bound to be a reason for it, and they want me to look at the new version, so I'm going to look at the new version. Once you get done attaching your file, you'll click the submit button and it'll submit it immediately to me. And that's when I have the ability to go in and evaluate it. I'll provide an evaluation to it, then I'll return the evaluation, and you'll have the ability, depending on what's going on, usually to go back and revise and or edit the piece to make it stronger and improve your grade. Another type of assignment we have is ethics, laws, and copyrights. If you go into this one, I believe we have a discussion board. Yes, that's what this one is with a little pin, because you're essentially going to pin a discussion to an overall thread. This one in at least 200 words, what type of ethical and legal concerns you may encounter in your future career. Basically, it's just asking. You spend some time and all with a note section looking at the idea of ethics, laws, and copyrights and how they work and why they're important to be aware of. And this one, it wants you to take and consider the connection between what you learned and what it is you're doing or what you're going to be doing in your future career that would connect to technical writing. So it's just that. So do this one, you click on that. As you can see, you have some other people that have already started posting to this thread. All you would have to do is click on create a thread. Type your subject, type whatever it is you wanted to here, and you can click submit. You can attach a document to these. This is a case where I'd actually prefer it just to be added into the message window and hit submit. If you go to this page, let's say you click on this and it doesn't immediately start to load completely. It kind of looks like it's hung up after a minute or two, like it hasn't quite shown maybe this text box here. Just go up here, click on this section with the URL, and this is with any page in MyTCCD. Hit return again. Wait a second. If it comes with a whole bunch of letters and everything else like that, hit return again with it selected. Give it a few moments of hit and return like that, and eventually the thing will actually pop up and let you submit. That's just MyTCCD showing you just how much it cares. There's more than one way to hit the discussion board. You can hit it like this, going right here to discussion board. The problem with doing it this way is that you really don't necessarily know which lesson everything's embedded within. So, just kind of the thing. I mean, like for instance, the introduction thread, I'm really enjoying reading those. I have read through like all of one so far. I've got to get through the rest of them. I think they're a neat idea. Not mine. I didn't actually know that the thread existed until I was doing some of the other work. Professional ethics discussions and things like that, those are, and the course questions, those are all things that I've added on so far. Back into lessons. All right. Ethics and laws. Then we've got one on document style, format, and revision. This is another one where it's largely just please go through and read these things. As it says, APA formatting will be used. If you're going to be going into something like, as I said, you're going to be an English major, you know that, then I have no problem with you writing an MLA. Not a reason really to go into new citation style. But most of you aren't going to be. Alright, so here's the first major lesson. I mean, consider everything up to this point to be really just kind of laying the groundwork for doing these three tasks. These three are going to be the big bad boys and all that earn all the points for the course. So this business letter one, it talks about formatting a sample memorandum, talks about doing correspondences. Then it has the assignment for creating a business letter, and it tells you exactly what it wants you to do. For this assignment, you'll draft a bad news letter based on the scenario that is attached. For this assignment, you'll create an address for Mr. Moore. Send the letter from your last name Sporting Goods and create an address. Don't forget to use standard letter format. When it says your last name Sporting Goods, so like if it was me, it'd be Sutton Sporting Goods. You know, it would make it creative and unique. Don't forget to use standard letter formatting. Be creative with the company name, letterhead, stuff like that. You can add letterhead and all to make it look really kind of cute and fancy, and that's perfectly okay. Not to mention, I think it's not a bad idea to have your own personal letterhead that you've designed with a logo to it and structure of where the heading is. Kind of practice and make it look really nice and neat. Please note weird fonts and stuff like that. Overly colorful things, not exactly going to help you out that much. Be reasonable. I mean, there are some designs and all that are certainly artistic and cute and would work, but for the most part, you want these things to jump out mostly because A, you use a decent quality paper when you print them out, B, you don't have a bunch of artsy, pardon my phrase, but artsy-fartsy stuff that's a little bit distracting, and then more importantly, the information contained within it is really to the point. Now it continues on. All written assignments in this course should include the following: Times New Roman as the font type, 12-point font, title page that follows APA format, sample. The APA page is located in the student resources area, along with a video that you might find helpful. Open the attachment for the complete scenario. So you click that, open it up. Here's the scenario, and this is the description. Mr. Moore writes that he purchased a camping refrigerator for $150. For the purchase, Moore had made 3 smaller mail order purchases, which totaled about $60. Shows you that a friend of his ordered the same refrigerator a few days after he bought his and was charged $48 less. He investigated and discovered the following facts. Moore ordered his camping refrigerator early in August during the camping season. However, the last of August, 3 weeks after Moore had bought his refrigerator, store had to sell. You can decide that you cannot establish a precedent of giving sale prices to customers who purchase the item before special sales are announced, especially after 3 weeks and during a change of season. Sorry, you do decide. Write a letter to Moore denying his request but keeping his goodwill in future business. Be reasonable but don't go overboard. Don't give him a refund, and if you choose to give him any future incentives, be frugal. So in this case, like it's a situation where you wouldn't necessarily provide him with, say, a 75% off discount or $50 worth of, in-store coupon. You don't want it to be something that equals out to the exact same amount that the guy is trying to get you to give back, but you want to give him something to allow him to feel better. So, a 10 to 15% coupon, free shipping on whatever his next order is, something and all that's innocuous, up to, X amount. Something that is reasonable that won't cause the company really to lose all that much, but at the same time won't cause us to lose Mr. Moore's business. But you are going to tell him no. So it'll be interesting to see how you write this. You've got the leeway in what you construct here, but you're going to do it as a representative of a business, and this letter will be a business letter. When you get done writing that particular business letter and you're ready to, you come here to the assignment thing, click that, scroll down, attach your file, click this button, click submit, and poof, you are done with that. The job application materials section works almost the same way. It tells you how to correctly create the resume, create a job application letter and a follow-up, and then you submit those. I would suggest not going into this one just yet. Give us until January 2nd to go into this one if you could. Reason is because I'm going to be posting a couple of things to really kind of expand this assignment and this one to make it a little bit easier for people to put together, and I'm also going to provide you with some visual examples to help you along the way. If you submit things too soon in this particular case, you won't be able to have my help with it, and not that my help's invaluable, but let's be honest, it's what you're paying me for. And certainly you can feel free to look at some aspects of the walkthrough, but again, wait till we get back. It'll be about midweek when I post information on the walkthroughs. You're going to want my information. It's what makes this thing make sense. But that's a general walkthrough of how this course is going to work and the structure it's going to follow, how to submit things, how to access things. Again, I technically am already on break, but I'm definitely going to be on break going through the next 2 weeks, including some time when I'm not even going to be near a computer because I'll be on vacation. But I'll try and respond as much as I can when things do come up. And worst case scenario, if you reach a point where you feel really stalled out, just stop, enjoy your own break. It's worth taking. And then when I come back and all, we can make it all crystal clear. Until then, I look forward to working with all of you, and have a great 2 weeks.